You've been through a lot. Get some rest.
Gonna be a real shame when that goes. Did you all think we were done with Disney and Fox? Please, the amount that we can milk this thing doesn't even come close to what we have now. But in all seriousness, today is a topic that's been on the minds of a few of us here at the Hybrid Network, mine especially, primarily about what's to become of a lot of these Fox spin-off projects that were slated to happen. Things like Gambit, X-Force, Multiple Man, and, of course, the New Mutants. The majority of these we can probably take or leave. I doubt anyone is really interested in Multiple Man, or even Gambit, despite that apparently still being made. But there's just something about the New Mutants. If you didn't see the trailer or know next to nothing about the production, essentially the movie is set to follow a very specific storyline from the comics, and in doing so embraces itself as a horror movie above all else. I mean, clearly. The biggest thing to really take away from this is the arrival of something new to the table in the comic book movies, something we've been seeing sprout up a few times with stuff like Deadpool, Logan, and possibly Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. New Mutants kind of fills that role, and there was some excitement from a few of us here at Hybrid over the prospect of a trilogy following these characters in a more horror-centric comic film franchise. And that's likely not going to happen. See, with the acquisition of all of these properties, from X-Men to Fantastic Four, obviously Disney is going to be looking to hand these properties down to their buddies at Marvel Studios to incorporate them into the framework of the MCU. That means Wolverine showing up alongside Spider-Man at some point, because that prints money. But outside of that, a reworking of some of the projects Fox had been developing. See, think about it like this. Marvel has prided itself pretty much on the interconnectivity of their universe, which I doubt is something that they're going to want to compromise at this point in the game. The last thing they'd really want is a bunch of movies that could ruin the already delicate framework of continuity. Not if they can help it, at least. Now, with Fox Searchlight and Fox 2000 being mentioned as still part of their movie business, Disney could potentially move these projects to another studio within their fold. After all, they'll have access to IPs like Alien and Predator, which aren't exactly fitting under the Disney banner. But that's nothing to say about what could happen to the Marvel-branded projects, which are under the full control of Kevin Feige at Marvel Studios. It's not an easy job handling a universe, and adding in separately developed spin-offs only adds to that stress. Sure, a lot of these could be reworked to better fit into the confines of the universe. They know all about retooling films. The story behind Ant-Man tested that. But this is a bit different. Mutants are going to be a particularly tricky thing to manifest within the MCU, and the folks at Marvel are going to have to tread carefully incorporating these characters. While New Mutants could come out to critical success and financial triumph, fitting them into the universe after this initial film could prove to be quite difficult. Perhaps even too difficult. See, this all mostly depends on how Marvel wants to incorporate mutants, but if New Mutants goes against a good portion of what they want to try and accomplish, then it doesn't matter how separate it is. Those films can't happen, or at the very least will need to be reworked to show back up much, much later. Deadpool has the benefit of largely being unconnected to previous Fox continuity, aside from the obvious public status of the X-Men.
Let us go talk to the professor.
McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines are so confusing.
And while New Mutants has this somewhat, it delves heavily with mutation. Now, maybe Marvel is looking for mutants to simply be a rare genetic occurrence that's only now started to manifest. Who's to say? But I think it's fairly likely that New Mutants is probably going to be a one and done. More than anything else, it might convince Disney that there's a market for more mature, out there ideas for comic films, which seems to be the case considering Iger's words on Deadpool, but that would be more of a case of experimentation with their properties, not necessarily bringing New Mutants back or continuing them. At the end of the day, the key concept of an interconnected universe comes first, no matter how much people would want New Mutants. So I think it's only a matter of time before we hear that New Mutants will not be moving ahead with any sequels or a continuing franchise. Which saddens me a good bit because the movie itself looks really cool and different from what we've seen, and I really would like to see the culmination of planning that comes with the mapping out a trilogy. But we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, that wraps up this video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, it really helps us out, and go hit subscribe for more of our videos as they come out. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter if you haven't already. And if you'd like to show your support, maybe consider donating to our Patreon page, where every dollar that you guys puts in goes towards helping us create higher quality content for you, the viewer. Thanks guys, and we'll see you all next time.